Hey everybody, my name is Mike Tomorrow, and I want to welcome you to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. Today's topic I'm going to be talking about is what to say on social media, and be careful what you say on social media, and the good things you can say, the bad things you can say, the consequences for your actions, You get the idea, right? So basically the topic of the day is going to be behavior on social media. You know, we sometimes forget what we're saying when we're saying it online. And it can be hard if you say a bad thing on there, or if you say something that you not meant to say or whatever. It's hard to take back what you say, because once you put it out on social media, like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or MySpace, if they even use it still, or Pinterest, you get the idea. You get the idea. If you say it, then you would have a hard time saying it, taking it back if you didn't mean it, Or if you say something and the words got mixed up when you were trying to say it, then it could be a bad thing. Here's the thing too. Employers do look on social media. When they interview you, they do look on your social media. Even if you don't give them a link, they have your email, they have your telephone number, they have your contact info. So even if you don't give them a Facebook page link or a Twitter page link, all they have to do is, if you put your contact info on Facebook, they'll look you up. If you have a telephone number, they'll look you up. They can look you up by phone number. They can look you up by email. And it's hard, but Or if somebody sees something that you wrote, and they'll share it with somebody else, and somebody else will share it, and somebody else will share it. Eventually, it's going to get to that employer. Take an example here. There was a woman in Texas. She applied for a daycare job. She said that she didn't want to work with kids. The next thing happened? Her complaining on Facebook? I guess somebody shared her opinion with somebody else, and somebody else shared it with somebody else. Eventually, it got to the employer, and the employer told the potential worker, "Don't even come in. Don't even come in for your first day. You're done." And it's happening more and more often that people are losing their jobs because of what they say online. You see all the stories all the time. It's hard to control your behavior on social media. There's even people that go online and they have pictures of themselves with skin showing, and they're possibly gonna lose their jobs too. I know it's a terrible world that we live in, that we have to deal with this, but it's reality, guys. It's reality. You have to accept the facts, There are consequences for if you say a bad thing online. There's a consequence if you say a bad thing, there's even worse things that can happen than losing your job. There's people online that post like, "Oh, we're getting this money, blah, 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 blah." Next thing you know, they're not going to get it. Because of the things that they said online. Like one time, I guess the parents won a lawsuit against a school or something. And one of their kids blabbed about it online. "Oh, how we're going to take a trip with this money, blah, 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 blah." And then now they see it, And guess what? You ain't getting the money now because you blabbed about it online, you know? Or, let's say that you said that you kidnapped someone or killed someone, and you type that in, and the police can look at that as a threat, a crime, you know? They'll do an investigation against you, you know? I know we live in a tough world, but we do have to be careful what we say on social media, you know, or even all kinds of media. Look at the example of the ESPN reporter. She went into the tow yard because her car got towed, and she complained about how her car was towed, and you know, she said some bad things. I'm not going to repeat them on here. Next thing you know, that video, that yeah, that video, I'm not going to, you know, that video has gotten all over the press, and next thing you know, she got suspended for a week, you know? So, you do have to be careful what you say, because it can lead to you getting trouble down the road, you know? Or even in the family, too. Like, if somebody in the family doesn't want you posting something about what's happening, don't do it. Don't post it. I know I have heard a couple of people in my family when I posted stuff online, and I feel bad for them, and I'm sorry for doing it. I feel sorry for doing it, you know? But at the time I felt, hey, this person needs encouragement, or hey, this person needs congratulations, you know? And then the next thing you know, they get upset for saying stuff like that, you know? And I do feel bad that I did that, and I apologize, you know? However, you know, it affects me too, somewhat, you know? But I wasn't thinking at the time either, and, you know, and I want to say that I have said things in the past that have somewhat gotten me in trouble, somewhat. Not that severe, but, you know, I've said things online, and, you know, I'm like, I'm sorry I said those things. Or I'm sorry for doing that thing, or I'm sorry for this or that, and, you know, but it doesn't go away. Once you say something online, it doesn't go away. You know, even these videos, even though I get good comments about them, how I teach people about my life with Asperger's and what I go through on a daily basis, or even viewpoints of stories and whatever, even though I get good news about that, I also get bad comments about it as well. Because fact is, I know I have said a few things on these videos. And I feel bad for saying some of the stuff I say. But it's my viewpoint too. And I know it's hard for me to understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable to say online. You know? Especially these videos, because they go online. You know? Another thing you gotta know is, I don't do a script. I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. You see? Bottom of heart. I say it from my heart. I say it from my brain. You know, I don't type out a script and read it. I know some of the, when I do news stories and my reactions to them, I know when I do that, I do read some of the stuff online. Yeah, I understand that. That's when I read the stuff online as printed. But most of the time, my videos are not scripted. I don't do a script. I just say what's on my mind at the time, you know? And I do apologize if some of my comments offended anybody or if my comments lead for that, And I know that employers do look at even YouTube, Like one time I had an interview and they were very impressed with my videos, but they had comments on a couple of videos that I did like 3 years ago. You know, but I have changed since 3 years ago too. You know, I have taken a step back and learned what I said and think about what I say. Another thing is I don't use cuss words or curse words, whatever. I don't use foul language online. I might say things that are closely related to curse words, but I do not say the actual curse word. A, because it doesn't belong online, and B, it makes me feel bad if I say a cuss word online or a curse word online. It makes me feel bad for saying it. And C, now when I said about the employers looking, they look to see what you say and what you do and the pictures, And if they see someone who constantly say curse words or swears, then they're not going to hire them, They're not going to hire someone that says F this and F that and F this. You know what I mean? You get my point here, right? Because here's the thing. They see you posting the curse words and whatever and all that. If you use it like in your daily language, they're not going to hire you. You know why? Because they don't want someone like that working for their company. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's the truth. They do not want someone who constantly swears all the time. You know? Social media is a thing we gotta be careful. It's a great way to communicate with friends and family, but at the same time, you just have to be careful what you say online because it can come back to haunt you. It's real hard to deal with it. And then it even stay a defense for it. Like saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry, I should have known better. You should have known better before you posted it online. You know? But don't comment badly about things, I know in the past I have said about how my job was treating me, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 blah. That was on my mind. I didn't actually mean it, I try to be careful what I say too. It's just hard. It's probably hard for anybody to post a comment online. And it's probably hard because they say what's on their minds and yet they don't realize it until it's too late. What they said could affect them. I know I deal with it because they're probably looking me up too when I'm applying for jobs or applying for this or applying for that. They're probably looking me up online. And they're probably seeing the things I say too. And I know it affects me probably to get a job. I'm trying to find a job and trying to get a career job out there. But, I do like to post a lot online. And, I like posting about where I like to go and where I like to go out to eat or where I am sometimes. I like to post. I like to check in where I go too. Like I check in at Disney World or check in the Keys or check in at a restaurant or two. You know, I don't check in if I'm going to the grocery store. I do check in if I'm going to a gas station. If I'm on the road. I like to keep my progress of where I'm going. That's why I do the check-ins. And to better route myself, because if I know where I have gone to, I can plan ahead and go to these places again. You know? That's why I check in at like gas stations when I'm traveling down south, or food places along the way, or hotels along the way. So I get an idea of where did I stay, or where did I go, or can we go there again? You know, I don't post where I check into every place, but I do most of the places I do go. You know, what's strange is if I try to share it with Time Hop, you know, the app where you can share anything and from the past, like if you shared it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, if you shared it, then, you know, but if I shared it with Time Hop, like, you know, you can share posts from the past from Time Hop. But the only thing is, with Time Hop, they don't include the places where you check in or the movies that you watched, so you don't have an idea of what movie you watched or where you went. You have to rely on where you went on the maps or the places or whatever app is on Facebook about that. You know? They don't include the places you go or the movies you watch or the TV show you watch. They should include it, but they don't. You know, I even made a suggestion about that, and I haven't heard back from them yet. But anyways, you do have to be careful what you say on social media. And do note this too. This has been a problem